Hello, everyone. My name is Renee, and I'm excited to bring you two of our Saxco packaging experts, Tam and Barb. In today's session, you'll get to know Saxco and our two experts and discover how many solutions we offer for all of your alternative packaging needs. For over 80 years, Saxco has provided the leading wine, spirits, beer, and other beverage companies with a suite of packaging solutions, allowing you time to focus your energy and efforts on your customers. Let's meet our experts. Tam has over 15 years of packaging expertise and brings a level of commitment to her customers like no other. She works relentlessly to find solutions that work within a budget and timeline designed with customer success in mind. All this makes her a leader in our industry. Thanks for joining us, Tam. And Barb, yeah, glad you're here. Barb brings a depth of care and passion for the wine industry to her role at Saxco. Her curious mindset keeps solutions on the forefront of her day. Her 20-plus years in the industry make her a trusted source and a partner for her customers. Thanks for joining us, Barb.
Thanks.
All right, ladies. Well, I'm excited to dig in with you and talk about the topic of packaging and what options are out there for wineries. Today, the business is constantly changing, as we all know. So I think it's more important that we offer solutions to customers. And what I thought would be a good idea is, I know you have a slideshow prepared, but I thought it'd be a good idea to break down this information through some questions. So we can share this with our audience in that format. How does that sound to you guys?
Sounds great.
All right, let's dig in. Tam, what are some options that wineries have for responding to the current shifts we are seeing in the go-to market and the on-premise challenges we are facing?
I'm glad you asked, Renee. Thank you. So what I want to talk to you today about is the one-way keg option. This is a new program that Saxco is carrying. What we found out is a lot of the premise locations have been closed, but you're seeing a lot more deliveries to the consumer. And so we just want to bring it to the forefront that we do have these one-way kegs. And one of the options to utilize this keg is the restaurant or the premise could actually take your wine in a keg and actually fill up a growler and deliver that to the customers via Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, a lot of options out there. So I want to talk to you a little bit about one-way kegs. One of the things that's much less expensive, you spend less on packaging, it creates a competitive pricing on the retail market. I know we have some great wines in the Northwest Territory, and using a keg format actually will help lower your cost to the consumer. And I'll get into that in a little bit. You also can get kegs on demand when you need them. We actually store them here in the Portland location in our warehouse. There's no investment in a large fleet of steel and having to worry about getting your steel kegs back. There's no deposit and there's no risk of loss. And there's one of the main thing is quite important is there's no cleaning and maintenance. Basically, you're filling the keg and you're sending the keg to the premise locations. We do have two types of kegs available, the unit keg and the key keg. And I will talk to you about that in the next coming slides. Keep in mind, a 20-liter keg is actually equivalent to 26 bottles. And this is packaging that is no longer needed when you're using the keg for premise locations. So here's the two different types of kegs. We have the unit keg, which is on the right. We have the key keg on the left. They come in 20 liters and 30 liters. Let's talk about the key keg important issues. Basically what we're seeing is a bladder inside of the keg container. This allows the premise site to use a lot of different types of gas out there. They can use CO2, nitrogen, compressed air, and of course they can use argon. But by using the key keg, it no longer requires a special gas to be able to keg the wine and serve to the consumer. None of these gases will actually affect the wine because they do not touch the wine. As you can see in these pictures, the gas presses upon the bladder, and then the wine is actually dispensed through the tap. Advantages of the key keg, as we talked about: nitrogen, CO2, compressed air, and argon are all acceptable. You can fill on site. There's no special bottling system or mobile line required. There is a double line wall protection. There's basically a PET preform that is blown into shape, and then it also has a clear PET outer layer that provides additional protection. This ensures that a potential failure will happen safely out of the bottom and not split along the sides. The mechanical fittings to secure the grip ring basically has a top handle is screwed onto the vessel, which ensures a secure fit. It also has better stacking, so you can actually ship 60 kegs per pallet filled. When they ship to you emptied, you can actually get up to 80 kegs per pallet. It also has load security. The top chime design is designed with flat sides to ensure that kegs lock into each other and do not shift during transportation. And competitors basically have a round design and tend to shift in transport. So there's obviously, you can see there's about 6 key advantages here that we have with Key Keg, and I'll continue on. It also uses your standard D-style keg coupler fitting, which is also known as a D-Sankey. So based upon what Saxco is offering in the market, we feel this is a good opportunity for the winemakers and various other beverage distributors within the state to know that we have the opportunity to ship you kegs and get out there in the market. With that, I'd like to switch it over to Barb to talk about small format options and custom mold development.
All right. So, Barb, can you walk us through the types of inquiries you're getting around smaller format bottles?
Yeah, so COVID's given us a good opportunity to get creative. So not only are we seeing, the typical 500 ml and 375 ml requests, I've been doing a lot of 2-ounce rounds. And what those do, there's 3, I'm sure there's a plethora of ways to use these, but I'm seeing 3 different ways to use these. One is through the wine clubs. And so they'll get filled and they'll send these out to their wine clubs, either complimentary or for a small fee. And then that way the wine club members can see and taste the different options they might want to put together for their next month's order. And then another way is that they're putting them in little trays and in the tasting rooms, and then sending them off that way, rather than having people at the bar or taking, a bottle out to the table and pouring it one at a time, right? So they'll have these all set up, and it just kind of expedites that, so people can take them and go sit outside on the porch. And then another way, this one just came recently, is they want these for their distributors. So they're not doing as many distributor visits, and so this is a way that they can let the distributors taste the wine. And so I just sold many cases for this particular purpose, to be able to get the wines out to the distributors in an easy way. And then I know Tam's been doing some of the OBRC bottles as well. Tam?
Thanks, Barb. So we do have on the market a single serve option in 2 formats. We have a 12-ounce and a 500 ml. This is a great program, and we're seeing this grow in the Northwest. Oregon has many OBRC, the Oregon Bottle Drop Refillable locations across the state. And this is an option that we're seeing that beverages are going into the 12-ounce and the 500 ml. This is actually only available in amber, but it does give you an option to put other beverages in a single serve option. We've seen bubblies go into this bottle, wine goes into this bottle, kombucha, a variety of different beverages are being used. You could even actually do coffee, or maybe it would be a CBD type drink. With this program, you have the option again of a 12 ounce or a 500 ml. There is a label that is required to be washable, and we have information on this program that we can send out to you. But what's interesting about this program is the bottle is actually recycled, it's washed, and it's put back into the market. And so it can actually be used up to 20 times. So we think this is a great opportunity to bring it out there for everybody to learn about. And if you have more questions, we're more than happy to answer your questions. Now I'd like to pass this back over to Barb, custom mold development.
Yeah, so this is a really cool way to differentiate your product in the market. And I think right now, more than ever, people are wanting to do that. And there's about 5 different phases that we go through when we're doing a new product development. One's the concept. So I have a bottle here, not wine bottle, but oops, where? There we go. But it's a sake bottle. And so there was a concept. They kind of knew the feel that they wanted. So we talked through that. And that was about a 2-week process, just trying to kind of get a feel and capture what they were wanting to do with it. You know, and they decided that they wanted to do screw cap, and it has a nice coating on it. So we went through the concept, and that was about a 2-week process. And then we go down to the design. And again, that's like bottle drawings. We get bottle drawings, and we figure out the deco, closures and capsules, and whether or not, you know, you want to do, what kind of a carton you want. Do you want printed carton, or just content? And then, you know, there's different kinds of models that we can bring out. You know, there's, you know, 3D printed, samples. Like this one was actually, we did a mold development sample. So this was came as a sample just like this. And then also in the design process, we have pricing, and then and we go back and forth, and then we have approvals, and that's usually about a 6-week process there. And then the next phase would be sourcing, and so we're going to identify the factory, where this is going to be, you know, the quality of the factory, the capabilities, capacity, those kinds of things. And then we'll refresh the pricing based on, you know, because the first pricing is kind of a placeholder, and then depending on the factory, we might have to adjust that. So then the sourcing, we kind of narrow that down. We get approvals again. This is about a 2 to 4 week process as we source. And then we go into the unit sampling, which is what this is how this one was done. And then we ask for approvals on the sample. And then once the sample is approved, then we start building the whole mold set out. And so after the sample's done, that's about an 8-week process to get this done. Then we go into production, and that's about a 12 to 16 week scheduling or more, depending. So you're looking at about a 9-month process from the beginning to the end. But at the end, you have something that is uniquely yours, that nobody else on the market is going to have. And so it's very much worth it. I know these guys are super pleased. I've done several different mold developments for them in different countries. And it's really what sets them apart from their competition in the marketplace. So,
Barb, I have a quick question on that.
Yeah.
Is that for any size? Is that typically 750s? I mean, what do you normally see on mold developments, custom mold developments, as far as
it can be anything. Like
Okay.
for these guys, on the slide you can see the Moonstone and the Momokawas. Those actually come in 750s and 300s milliliters. So and they're actually made in 2 different countries, but we can do anything. It can be, you know, a 421 milliliter. You know, that's the cool thing about the mold development. It can be anything that you want. And it's about, like I said, about a 9-month process, and it's very affordable. It's much more affordable than people think it is.
That's good to know.
Hmm.
All right, thanks for sharing that. So, with some of these options that you ladies have walked us through, it sounds like a certain level of planning is needed. Tam, can you share what you see as some of the pitfalls wineries can get into without proper planning?
I sure can. Thank you. So, in the market with glass cans, these are the typical beverage um, items that are used out in the market. What we find out though is not everything is produced domestically, or we may be seeing a shift in the market where there is above and beyond available capacity, especially on cans. This can actually happen with bottles. A lot of times we have customers coming to us. Actually, if you look at some of our customers, they're coming to us in October presenting their forecast for the entire following year. And the reason why they're doing this is because they want to ensure that they have the availability and their glass gets reserved. A lot of things have happened. Obviously, we've seen with COVID over this past year. It's best to have Saxco work with you and help plan your forecasting and reserve your glass. We want our winemakers to be able to focus on what they do best, and we don't want them to have to worry about, is their glass secure? Is there going to be enough supply? We just don't know what the market is going to do, and it can shift dramatically within just a couple of months. We do use domestic supply. We also use Asian supply. And what we're trying to do is figure out the best fit for your market and the timing that you have. We also source from European markets as well, such as Veralia and Savor. And those are bottles that actually require about 4 to 6 months lead time, especially if you're looking for some of the heavier weight bottles, if you're looking for a special type of closure, especially on the sparkling. We have a lot of winemakers wanting sparkling with a 29 millimeter finish, and that is actually only available through the European market. So we have to plan well in advance to make sure that we have that glass coming over the overseas and hitting the US market in time for their bottling. So what we just want to impress upon everybody is we want to work with you and want to help with you and manage your forecast going forward. This is really our job, is to help you ensure that you have the glass that you need in the future. And so we are very much well aware that it's a very important process of the winemaking and getting to market. And so this is something that we want to be sure that everybody is well prepared for in advance.
Yeah, and I'd like to add one thing to that. One of the really cool things about Saxco is that there's multiple molds. So we might have a mold shape at one manufacturer, but we also have that same mold shape at a different manufacturer. And so if for some reason, and it happens, right, the manufacturer can't perform, we can shift and go over to the other one. I mean, some of the molds we have, 3 or 4 manufacturers we can pull from. So it really gives the customer a lot of security.
And you're right, Barb. And also another area is cans. I'm not sure if the market is aware that the U.S. the can manufacturing is at all-time capacity right now. Cans are taking anywhere from about 2 to 3 months because a lot of them are now being secured offshore. Saxco has a lot of options available, especially for wine in cans. We're securing from Asia and Taiwan. And so it's not just the US market that we're securing stock on cans. So that's this additional area that really needs to be focused on well in advance, so you have your supplies when it comes to canning.
Good point. Yeah, that's all very helpful information. So, all right, well, ladies, is there anything else you'd like to close out with? I know I learned a few things today, so I hope that our audience learned a few things. So we hope this information has opened your eyes to the number of solutions that are out there for wineries when it comes to packaging. We can offer your winery a full range packaging review. You can look at our robust stocking program for standard format sizes. As Tam mentioned, the cans. We are a trusted source for that particular product. So if there's any questions or inquiries for that, reach out to Saxco. And if you'd like a quote on one of the 4 alternative options that we presented today, please reach out to Tam and Barb. We'll put their contact information up next. So we'll go ahead and close out, ladies. I think that was a very informative session, and we covered many products and many topics. So we thank our audience. If you guys have any last closing remarks.
No, thanks for watching.
Thank you very much, Renee.
Hope to connect
Thank you,
soon.
Thanks, everybody.